have been. I'm going to go through and update the minutes like you said for, I want to make sure I have proper. Okay, so. What is going on with my laptop? Are we live? Did it work?
Yes, we're live right now. I'm just tweeting it out.
It's not popping up for me.
I literally just went live, so just give it a second.
And my... Dude, what the fuck?
Yo.
There we go. Oh, what the flip?
Absolutely. We appreciate you being in here. We're going to give it a few more minutes, just like we normally do, to wait for more people to join.
I don't know what's going on with my laptop. Can I hear it?
What's up? What's up, guys? We're just giving everybody a few more minutes to join, and then we'll go ahead and start this. What's going on, guys?
Matt, how do you feel?
About the slate, or how do I actually feel?
How do you physically feel?
Like, out of 10, probably 10 being the worst, probably like a 7.
Why would you ever scale something 1 to 10 with 10 being the worst?
I don't know, because that's how I feel.
Can somebody back me up here? That's kind of crazy.
Okay, then I'm a 3.
There we go. All right, I'll take that. I like that better. 10 being the worst. Oh, man. Someone come get their mans.
Absolutely. Hopefully you guys took the core, because I know the core hit last night. Our core has been on point. Everything that we recommend from the core has been absolutely fire lately. So, what's up?
Well, for the people that aren't members, the core was good, but the fillers were better. Yeah. Whoever is a member in here and a customer, and we're able to take advantage and get to see the lineup that we post every night, the fillers that we had, those were the cream of the crop.
We also made a last-minute pivot last night, like literally last minute. It was between Augustine and LeBron and AD and who else?
AD and Culver.
Culver, yeah, that's who it was. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. There's enough people in here. All right, so welcome, guys. This slate did get interesting once the Porzingis news dropped. I'm here with TJ again, so everybody say hi to TJ. We had Sabonis news break earlier. We have Porzingis news break. So let's go ahead and just start off by talking about Dallas, because what are we looking at for Dallas, TJ?
You mean Brogdon, not Sabonis, right?
Brogdon, sorry. Yep.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So Porzingis out again tonight. I know that last game he was a scratch 2 minutes after that game locked. So for those of you who were ahead of that curve, congratulations on knowing Porzingis was going to be out. But so yeah, it looks like he's going to sit again tonight against Brooklyn. Hardaway is also out. Brokoff is also out. I think he broke off his leg. I think that was the thing that was trending on Twitter.
Are you kidding? I didn't see that.
No, because it's last game.
Just good.
So with on Hardaway being off and Porzingis being off, it makes Luka an automatic lock for me tonight in cash. He averages 1.97 fantasy points with those two off the court, which is incredible. But there's also a bunch of cheap guys on Dallas that are very intriguing, and one of those is Jalen Brunson, who actually drew the start last game. He's only 3,400 tonight. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. It looks like right now he's projected at like 23, 24. And that's what he played last game. The one interesting thing to note is that Brunson actually played 14 minutes in the first half last game against OKC. But in the second half, Seth Curry actually closed out the whole entire fourth quarter. So Brunson was only in there for the first 3.5 minutes of the fourth. Then he didn't see the court for the rest of the time. I know he wasn't in foul trouble, so not too sure, but I think they just wanted to close out with Seth. So just a little bit interesting of a tidbit. But Brunson at 3,400, he's definitely going to be chalky tonight. I also like Seth Curry tonight, and I also like DeLon Wright from Dallas. So I think Dallas offers a lot of cheap options, especially because you have to pay out for Luka. You're going to need some value plays, and I think you can look at Dallas with those. With Porzingis being out, it just offers some good value.
Question, because I think we'll get this question, and I'm always curious about this. Did Boban get any kind of playing time last game? I think he did.
He did. Boban actually played 7 minutes in the first quarter.
Okay.
Then he came in the second quarter for exactly 1 minute.
Okay. Just seeing if he's a viable option. It sounds like he's not.
I mean, if you want to play him in a GPP, you know.
Because we know what he does.
He only logged 11 minutes, so he's not viable for cash. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I have here on my screen pulled up who benefits the most from those injuries. I know you've already covered it, but just to reiterate, looks like Finney-Smith gets a 4.2% increase in usage. Doncic obviously is a monster when he's the only scorer. It seems like it's James Harden in that sense. Averages 1.97 fantasy points per minute. 9.8, sorry. 40.4% usage when he's on the court. Absolutely unbelievable. He is probably one of the best players, if not, I don't want to say the best, but he's definitely a top 3 NBA player when he's the man on that team. So I definitely am all in on Doncic. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that he is still overpriced at 12K. I don't buy into that. I think 12K, you have to hit 60 DK points. I think that is completely reasonable for Doncic tonight, especially against Brooklyn. So, at least for cash, it's showing percentage ownership at 36% in tournament, which means he'll be highly owned as well. If it actually shows he's the highest owned. So, Doncic is chalk. He's a great play. I would start your builds with Doncic and some of these Dallas guys personally.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Moving on to Detroit, because I think Detroit is the second greatest amount of injury news that has come out. Actually, let's go to the Clippers real quick, because I want to wait for Detroit with Bruce Brown, because we don't know what his status is. So without Beverly, who are you looking at for the Clippers?
Yeah, pretty obvious that it's going to be Lou Williams. He's getting the start tonight at point guard, only 6,300. Should see a little bit north of 30 minutes. He'll hit value. He's going to be pretty chalky tonight. It's a pretty obvious play. But besides the obvious Lou Williams, I like Paul George as well tonight. He's actually gotten a little bit of a price bump, 8,800. I feel like him and Kawhi kind of fluctuate. And I kind of feel like what I've been doing with Kawhi and Paul George, if they're in good spots, is I just take whoever's less owned. And I feel like it's worked 90% of the time.
I can agree with that, yep.
Because one of them's going to get theirs. The other one might just hit value. But, with Bev off the court, what was Paul George on my sheet?
I think George gets the higher increase. Last time I checked.
He gets a little bit less than a 2% usage increase, which, I mean, that's not surprising since Bev isn't that high of a usage guy, but he averages 1.36 fantasy points a minute. It's a little bit less than Kawhi at 1.45, but you get to save the $700. So, I mean, you kind of got to weigh your options. PG should play maybe 2 minutes more too. So take that into consideration for whatever it's worth. So from this game, I like Lou. Obviously, I think he's going to be chalk. I think him and Luka will be two of the higher owned guys on the slate in cash, and they're going to be in your core build. They're in mine at least. So I think it's smart to start off with Luka and Lou. I like Paul George. I also like Montrezl Harrell at 5,700. And I wish Zubac got more minutes, but as he's unbelievable when he's actually on the court. He's a 1.3 fantasy point player per minute, but he just doesn't see the minutes. So I like him as a GPP play, but for cash options, it's going to be Lou, it's going to be Paul George, and it's going to be Montrez.
I'm going to extend on that in just a second. For everybody that just joined, I know we just got a huge bump in people joining the chat. If you guys have any questions, if this is your first time, please ask your questions down low. We will be sure to answer those once we get to them, once we go over all of our analysis ourselves. Welcome. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You will be the first notified whenever we go live, whenever we post a video. We want to make sure you guys have access to all that. So for the Clippers, yeah, I completely agree with you. I know I put Lou Will as my favorite play on the slate, and I still think that's viable. At 6.3, I think he's the best mid-tier option as of right now. I don't really see how you can fade Lou Will if he's actually getting 31 minutes at 6.3 and he gets that usage increase. I think in him only showing at 14% right now is actually pretty stunning. So if he's going to be that low owned, I think that's a huge edge against the field. Obviously, a full stack of the Clippers doesn't make sense just because they're all priced pretty high. So you wouldn't cover most of those price tags. So like what you were saying, I would pick one of those two Clippers. Harrell and Lou Will could easily hit value, and then one of those Clippers. You know that either Kawhi or George, one of those guys is going to snap, the other one's going to barely hit value. So as frustrating as that always is. So that's what I would do if you are playing the Clippers. I would pick 3 of those 4 and roll on. For Detroit, actually, let's go back to Indiana. Indiana, Brogdon was rolled out. We touched base on that a little bit. Are you interested in anybody with this pace down?
If it is, I'm probably going to take the value play in McConnell tonight, 4,300. What is he at? 25 minutes. I'm pretty sure they have him projected for right now. I feel like he won't see anything more than 25 minutes if he gets 25 minutes. He's a 1.06 fantasy point per minute with Brogdon off the court. So against Denver, I mean, it's a pretty tough matchup. Gary Harris just got ruled in. Not that really does anything for TJ McConnell, but at 4,300, you're going to need value. You're going to need to find value somewhere. And with spending up to go get Luka, McConnell should see, like I said, at least 25 minutes, and he's really good with Brogdon off the court. So he's probably going to make it into the cash lineup tonight.
I know that Aaron Holiday is always a good play without Brogdon because he does handle the ball significantly a lot more. But again, it's a pace down. You mentioned a good point that we're looking for a lot of value. I'm going to sort by point per dollar here. I'm going to go through these value plays. I think that's an easier option just to kind of break it down. Some good value options tonight actually come from the Warriors. Marquise Chris, do you want to talk about the Warriors real quick and if they're viable at all?
Yeah, the only guy that I was really looking at tonight for well, first off, I want to check and see. I want to get some final news on Wiggins and on Towns. Right now, the projected lineup is that Wiggins is in, and that Cat is going to sit again tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Wiggins gets ruled out too, but right now I'm gauging it as. Hold on, my computer's crashing. I'm gauging it as Wiggins is in. So when it comes to that, I just want to wait and see if Cat's going to get ruled out. But from the Golden State side of the ball, I do like Marquise Chris tonight, especially if Cat's out against Gorgie. He's the only one that really is sticking out to me. I guess Alec Burks a little bit, but 6,500. Him, Draymond, Damian Lee, Glenn Robinson, they all got price bumps.
Yeah.
Especially after last game, and rightfully so. I mean, with the tight rotation with D'Lo still being out, Looney being out, Willie Cauley-Stein still being out. The price bump for the minutes that they're getting and the production that they've been having is appropriate. Marquise Chris is the one that didn't get the biggest bump. So, I mean, he went up $1,300, but he's still only 5,400. So if I'm taking anybody from Golden State, if he's going to get those 28 to 30 minutes, it's going to be Marquise Chris.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the only viable option is Marquise Chris for cash. I think Alec Burks is definitely, he's pricey, but he deserves it, man. He's been balling. Alec Burks without all those guys on the court, 45 last game. I think that's a real only sample size that we have unless we go back a lot further. You got 48, 40 a couple games ago, 34. So he's hitting his price tag there. And like I said, this is going to be a competitive game, as sad as that is, because both of these teams are without so many people. So it's just like
the Timberwolves off the back-to-back, though. So you
that's true.
And they were actually in the game against the Bucks, which I know Matt and I talked about. We thought they were going to lose by 30, and of course, it's tight in the fourth quarter, and just doesn't make sense. And Jared Culver just slammed on Robin Lopez's head, and it was just incredible.
That was funny. I saw that, and actually, the Timberwolves are still favored at home. So
yeah, I know. If I was a betting man, which I was in the past, I'm not anymore, I would definitely look at Golden State spread. I think they're like +4. I would definitely dabble on that a little bit. I think I might, but we'll see.
I'm gonna go back and answer some questions just because we haven't in a while here. Which game would you stack? I usually don't advise a full game stack just because not a full team anyway. Just because a couple players on that team. If one's doing well, that means another one's probably not doing well unless they're scoring 140 points. But if I'm gonna stack a couple players from a team, we already touched base on this. The Clippers are undervalued. It looks like Harrell, Williams, either Paul George or Kawhi. I would stack those three in a game. Come back with Detroit if you get lucky and that game does end in a higher over under and it ends in a close game. There's definitely some undervalued players in that game overall for Detroit. Tim Frazier, Christian Wood's another great play. Andre Drummond could definitely hit value at 9.8 without Griffin on the court. Could see some more offensive action as well. So that's my favorite game. So if you're going to stay up late and watch that game, feel free to stack that one.
I also want to touch base on that. So if you are looking to game stack tonight, I like Dallas and Brooklyn. I like going Luka, grabbing a couple more of those cheaper Dallas guys like Brunson, like Seth Curry, like DeLon Wright, and then coming back with Dinwiddie. That'd be my advice for maybe a little GPP stack. I wouldn't do it for cash because I think there's value all over the place. So I'm going to be picking and choosing from games, a couple guys here and there. And then, like Matt said, with the Clippers, I would probably go someone like Kawhi, Paul George, Lou, Trez, and then I would definitely try and get Drummond if you can. I know that's 4 pretty high-priced guys, so you're going to have to find some value in some of those other games. But I like both of those as options for GPPs. But a lot of people might be thinking the same way, so they could be a little higher owned.
I'm also really intrigued with Bruce Brown. If he is playing, I really like him. But again, he came out as questionable with an illness. If he is out, there's definitely some intriguing plays in that game. So hopefully they'll update that before the stream ends here. But it's a 10:30 game, so unfortunately, I think it's going to get there. But with that being said, if Bruce Brown is ruled out, we love Tim Frazier. We think his minutes are going to go up even more. He's a high fantasy point per minute player at 3.5, 22 minutes right now, but those minutes will go up. And really, you can take a stab at any one of those players, any one of those guards, like Derrick Rose, obviously a high fantasy point per minute player. Could get even more of a bump from Bruce Brown being out. Callaway and Snell are always just, you never know with them. You never know. Yeah. So they put up shots.
I ripped on a Windu last night, or however you say his last name. And I was giving you crap about him, and he ended up hitting value. So it was just like, so who knows? Tony Snell could go for 30 tonight, but he's trash.
What game? Go ahead.
Sorry, I want to touch base on the Brunson or Curry. I would do Brunson for cash, and I would do Seth for GPP.
I agree with you. Yep. I think Seth Curry is going to be very low owned tonight. Yeah, 0.25%. So he's virtually unowned tonight. What game would you fade tonight? Oh, there's a bunch of games I would fade. I'm like not even looking at this Utah-Chicago game. Maybe.
So if you play GPP, play Utah and Chicago.
There you go.
If you're talking strictly cash for tonight, I think you're fading a majority of the games. I think for cash tonight, you're looking at Golden State and the Timberwolves. I think you're looking at Brooklyn and Dallas, and I think you're looking at Memphis and Sacramento, and then I think you're looking at the late night game with Detroit and Los Angeles, the Clips.
For anybody joining the chat, we just got another huge bump of people joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You'll be the first notified for our live streams. We want to make sure you guys get in here and are the first to answer or to ask any questions. We'll be sure to answer all of them. Hit those questions in the live chat below, and we'll be sure to answer them, guys.
My boy Slothy. Not your boy because he's my boy. I like the Dinwiddie counter with Luka. Yeah, if you want to go, if you could try and find a lineup where you have Luka, Dinwiddie, and Lou, and then get some value guys, maybe McConnell, or obviously Brunson too. I think see Wiggins rolled
there
out.
It is.
Rolled out. Sorry guys. So yeah, that opens up some value for
Teague's out. Here we go.
Yeah, I had already planned on Teague and
Graham. There we go. There's the bomb. Everybody, chill out, calm down, Fondly out.
Yeah, Fondly out too. So
everybody, take a deep breath.
So they're basically rolling with the same roster they did last night.
Yeah.
So this now makes Zhang viable. It makes Culver viable. I'm
gonna go ahead and punch in those numbers now.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up Minnesota too because I want to see. You know, man, I wanted Wiggins to play because I don't want to be faced again with fading Culver. Because, guys, Culver is not – he's a good player, but he cannot shoot the ball at all. He's a terrible shooter. But if you're going to play 33 – like, he's played 33 and 38 minutes the last 2 games. I know against Brooklyn it was overtime, which killed me. He doesn't score, but he does a lot of the little things. Like, he rebounds. He's a good facilitator. And he's very good with those steals and blocks, those 2+ stats. So he's gonna play 33 minutes. I think this makes Covington. I mean, he only took
Covington's not a bad play.
No, I think he only took 4 shots last night against the Bucks. But I mean, recency bias. It is what it is. I think this makes Covington viable at 5'6". I think it makes Culver viable at 5K. Shabazz, that's 5.9. He'll get a bump in minutes. He's viable now. Should play at least 30, a little more. Gorgie Zhang, he's viable now, as long as he stays out of foul trouble.
Yeah, now he's only projected 26 minutes. Is there a reason for that? Does he not play the entire game?
Well, I mean, he didn't play last night. He only played 24 against the Bucks. He was in foul trouble. But
it looks like I already have all these guys adjusted on Roto, so I apologize, guys, for me going back and forth between these sheets, confusing you guys.
Yeah, you're screwing me up too a little bit, bub.
So yeah, it has Zhang at 26, Napier at 32. Oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's an 8-man rotation for them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's updated.
It's not updated. Okay.
No, I'm gonna check. Popcorn machine because I want to check and see what they did for 1, 2, 3.
Doncic playing, but it's good to fade him in my opinion. I'm reading a question. That's not me saying that. We touched base on how Doncic is an up-paced game and how good he actually is with everybody off the court. He averages 1.98 fantasy points per minute, which is elite. I don't recommend fading him tonight. If you're playing one lineup, do not fade him.
Yeah, I think you're gonna need him for cash. I think he's gonna be really high owned.
Too.
He could have a dud, but I don't see it against Brooklyn. And he'll be the highest owned stud tonight on the slate. So if he has a triple double, midway through the third quarter, and he's sitting at 58 points, and he still has, and if it's a decent game, and he's gonna see 8 more minutes in the fourth quarter, you're screwed.
Yeah. Derrick Rose is another. Hold on. Available Thursday. You reading that?
Yeah, so they have 11 guys. I think only 10 play. 10 saw the court last game. Noel 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Derrick Rose ? Yes, we touched base on Derrick Rose earlier. The only thing that scares me about Derrick Rose is his 26 minutes. And me and TJ were talking about this before the stream. It's like we would start him every single night if he actually got above 30 minutes, just because he's such a good player. But at 6K. You're pushing it. You really are. Unless he gets that minute increase. If he's not playing over 30 minutes, it's a real shot in the dark. Because, I mean, 6K is really expensive. He's 4K, 4 to 5K. I'd say sure, go for it. 6K is just too much salary for me.
Guys, I do want to touch base real quick. I know we're going to get a lot of questions on the Timberwolves, guys. For GPP stack that I was just looking at, I think Toronto is really undervalued, especially Kyle Lowry and Van Vliet tonight. Lowry's only 8.2. I know they're playing against Miami. It's a 214 over-under. I kind of like that as a GPP stack, that game. It's definitely a ballsy one. But like I said, the price tag on Lowry isn't what it should be. I know they're playing Miami, and Miami has a very stout defense. But him and Van Vliet, I think, are both a little undervalued. Ibaka, too, a little bit. But Lowry and Van Vliet, I think, are really good GPP plays tonight. That's all I wanted to say. I just want to touch base on that.
I'm running my optimizer right now to spit out 150 lines, see what our exposures look like. I haven't done that yet. So with all the updated minutes and updated values, I'm going to see what this is looking like. Because we haven't gone over builds yet. See what it looks like. See what kind of studs come out, see what kind of low values come out, and see what the overall builds look like.
Somebody just asked Derek Jones or TJ McConnell. McConnell for cash, 100%.
Yes, I agree.
Kevin Love got 50 last time against the Hornets. Kevin Love has been playing good when he's been in. I think he's trying to show off for a contending team. He snapped against myself. He's trying to show off for Danny Ainge a little bit. So if you want to take a shot in the dark with Kevin Love as a GPP play, I mean, I'm all for it. But cash, I don't see. I'd rather go with Dinwiddie. I think he's going to be a little higher on tonight. But I think when Kevin Love's on, he's very good. But there was another question that I wanted to. Where was it? Main 5 tonight. So before all the injury news that just came out with Minnesota, my core 4 tonight were Luka, Jalen Brunson, Lou Williams, and McConnell. But now with all the injury news that just came out from Minnesota, that might shake things up a little bit. So I'm trying to figure that out.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Minnesota's going to be going with the same. I think they said they had 11 guys that were viable to play tonight. They had a 10-man rotation last night with Covington saw 33 minutes, Shabazz saw 31, Culver saw 33. It looks like Keelan Martin saw 24 and Gorgie saw 24. But like I said, I'm pretty sure Gorgie was in foul trouble last night.
Yeah, he disappointed me last night.
Yeah, he picked up 2 early fouls in the third. He only played the first 2.5 minutes to start the third quarter, and then he didn't come back in for the last 5 minutes of the fourth. So he sat a majority of that third in the beginning of the fourth quarter. So foul trouble definitely affected his minutes. So I would definitely see him playing 30 minutes as well. So I think you can bank on Culver, Zhang, Napier, and Covington all seeing 30 minutes, with then Keelan Martin and Okogie probably seeing mid-20s, and then all those other guys like Reed, Bates, Diapo, Bell, and Noel, they're not going to see anything over 20 would be my guess. So I think that makes all those Timberwolves that I said getting over 30 minutes cash viable tonight. I don't know if I'm going to go there or have any. I think right now, if I'm taking one, it's probably going to be – I kind of like Shabazz.
Yeah, Shabazz is like my favorite. That's the only one that pops for us on our sheet anyway.
Okay, so they just updated everything on
yeah, they did.
For minutes. Zhang 28, Napier 32, Covington 31, Culver 31, Martin 27, which I don't think he gets it. Doesn't matter what he's getting anyways. He's not going to be. So yeah, I think all those guys are not viable. So I'm going to run some numbers, Matt, right now.
Okay. I'm going to answer your questions while you're doing that. Question is it good to pair Luka with Maxey tonight? Yes. So the only time when I advise against stacking like a lot of the same team is when you're stacking like over 5 people that don't make sense salary wise. So the only time when that would make sense is like the other night when Houston had literally their entire roster out and all the guys were under 4,800. That made sense. But you got to look across the board at these players in Dallas. So Dallas, like Doncic here, 12,000, right? Kleber here at 5,500. Like the chances of those guys hitting value are less likely than an entire stack of Houston when they're under 4,800. So only stack when it makes sense, when all the guys are fairly cheap. Like, it'd make more sense to stack a team that's like the T-Wolves tonight. That would make more sense. Like, if they happen to go over 108, which is what they're projected at right now, then those players are more likely to hit value. Hopefully that made sense.
I mean, the only thing that I'm scared about is them coming off the back-to-back, so I wouldn't be surprised if the game, especially coming off that game last night against the Bucks. But then again, you know, we were on stream last night saying the Bucks are going to blow them out, and it's a close game in the fourth. So I could be sitting here just, you know, making a fool out of my.
Yeah, and with all that being said, I'm not actually stacking the T-Wolves. I'm just using that as an example. So right. Take that with a grain of salt. I'm not stacking any teams tonight. I'm not going to do that. If I'm stacking teams, I'm going to stack like 3 players from a team. So to answer the next question, can you start Lou Will and Paul George? Absolutely, because those 2 players can go off. Lou Will has a high percentage of hitting value tonight, and Paul George obviously always does. So his price tag's at 8.8. I could easily see him getting to 45 points. Easily. Yes, and like Luka's a great play for cash, and he's also a great play for GPP, but that's huge leverage. Let's say for some reason he gets in foul trouble or he has an off shooting night. Yeah, that's a way to leverage against the field. You could fade him, use a different build, like a mid-tier build. Yes, I can suggest doing that for GPP. So just make sure that if you do that, have another lineup with Luka in it, because you obviously want to hedge yourself against that.
So the one issue that I'm running into with my builds currently is that I want Luka and Brunson. So it only gives me 2 more options for guards. And you have Lou Williams, you now have Shabazz, and you now have Culver. So I think you're going to have to make some hard stands. I would advise on only grabbing one of those Timberwolves guards. One, I'm not too sure yet. But as long as Brunson's going to see those minutes, I still think you need Brunson in your cash builds as well.
Yeah. Somebody just came back and said Curry or Brunson, single entry. If you're doing a single entry, you're going to treat it like a cash build. Brunson's a better play there.
If you're going, if it's a big GPP,
yeah.
If you're doing GPP, and you want to take a stance right there, Brunson's going to have a lot more ownership than Curry. So if you want to be a little bit underweight on the field, obviously, and take that chance with Seth being maybe, I don't know, 15% owned and Brunson being 40 to 50, I'd go with Seth Curry.
Yeah, so let me extend on that, because a lot of people, this is always a question. So when you're playing GPPs, the more people in GPPs, the less ownership you want to have in your lineup. Okay, so that way you're trying to take down that tournament. If there's 45,000 people in a tournament and you're playing it like a cash build, and all those guys decide to snap, well, guess what? You're probably gonna have the same lineup as 50 other people, and there's gonna be somebody else in that tournament that's just gonna have a slightly better lineup. So you're not gonna take down the GPP. You might not even get close if you play that way. But if you're playing a small GPP, like 20 people, literally that small, those tournaments do exist out there, you're going to play it a little bit more conservative. You're going to have a lot of ownership mixed in with some slightly lower owned guys like Seth Curry. But the rest of your lineup has to be fairly high owned. So for anybody who hasn't heard that, I've ranted many times about that, and TJ's probably going to hit me the next time I do it. But I'm just letting you guys know. DFS 101.
What are your thoughts on Boban? Can I start him? For GPP,
don't say yes.
If you want to, sure, but cash, no. GPP, there's definitely better options than Boban.
I don't think he's getting enough minutes. I think in Philly, when he was getting 20 minutes, it was totally viable, but now he's not getting the minutes.
No, yeah, you don't want to mess with that.
Yeah,
I'd rather take a shot in the dark with maybe one of those Minnesota guys like Jordan Bell or something. That might see an extended run if Zhang gets in foul trouble again over Boban. Obviously, these are 2 guys that you don't want to roster anyways. But
so my exposures are looking like this. I have Marquise Chris here at the top. I have Brunson. Man, Bruce Brown again. Like I wish that news would come out, because that's going to change everything for me. I really like Bruce Brown tonight. I will say that, but questionable with an illness usually isn't good news. Montrezl Harrell. I'm going to get rid of Okogie. Okogie's next. and then Paul George. We haven't talked about
Yeah.
Kevin Porter. What do you think about Kevin Porter? Because I literally don't know. He's playing 27 minutes at 4,000.
I think he's 4,200.
Is he 42?
I think so.
Yep.
He
42.
doesn't really rate out pretty. He doesn't rate out too well on our sheet. That game could shoot out, I think, but I don't have any interest in him. If he wants to snap at 12% owned in cash games, so be it. But I'm more intrigued by somebody like McConnell for cash. Guys, just so you know, if I don't specify if it's GPP, I'm talking about cash games. So I'd rather go McConnell. I'm pretty sure Porter is shooting guard, small forward eligible.
Yep. I haven't pulled up.
So I'd rather go McConnell. I'd rather go down to Brunson over Porter. I'm not high on him. But yeah, like I said, if he snaps off tonight, so be it. He won't be high owned, so it's not going to be, too big of a hit to my lineup.
I had touched base on Butler in my video, and I'm getting the question now: is Butler a viable option? 8.6 is a little pricey for me. Only 110. He's always a decent play just because he is the man now in Miami, and they are balling. But 8.6 is a little too high for me. Strictly GPP. I wouldn't be playing him in a lot of lineups if I were you. I think he's averaging 1.23 fantasy points per minute last time I checked. So he's a great player, but 8.6 they adjusted his price upward. It bounced from 7.8 to 8.6. I'd go other places tonight.
Yeah, I like him as a GPP play, but not for cash.
Now you're stuck on Lou Will or Napier Lou Will. Right?
Yeah, but I try and have both. That's what right now I'm looking at. I'm looking at Lou, I'm looking at Napier, I'm looking at Luka, and I'm looking at Brunson. Those are my core four right now. I think Shabazz is a safer play than Culver, even though he's 900 more. I just think he's a better scorer and has the opportunity to put up more points, obviously. I don't think Culver's good, but Culver should definitely hit value tonight at 5K, seeing the minutes that he is against Golden State. But I'm going to go with Shabazz, and I think those core four are a really good core four to build your lineups around tonight for cash.
I agree with you.
But then it's where do you go from there, which is always the part.
McConnell or Frazier? I would say McConnell right now. Did you already answer this?
No. Yeah, McConnell now, but if Bruce Brown gets ruled out,
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, Frazier gets a bump in minutes. I mean, even in a blowout, he should see time too. So I mean, Matt and I almost took him the other night when I don't remember who they played in Utah, and I think he had like 6, 3, and 3 in the first half, and he was fire and he was like hit value, and then I don't think he did anything for the rest of the game. So, but yeah, I like Tim Frazier if Bruce Brown's out, but if Bruce Brown plays, Frazier should see like low 20 minutes. I think McConnell's just a safer play.
Somebody just asked favorite studs besides Doncic. I think technically he's the only really pricey stud. But we did say we like Drummond and we do like Kawhi. We do like them.
Drummond, I like George, and I like Dinwiddie as well. But Dinwiddie would be more of a GPP play.
Favorite players on Brooklyn. I talked about them in our video. They're all a little pricey. As TJ just said, Dinwiddie's the only guy I'd look at.
Did they anything on Temple yet?
No, and I was just looking at that.
I think that's interesting. I think if Temple's out, that might open. I mean, he plays 30, 32 minutes a game, so it'll be interesting to see where the minutes go. I don't know if he sat last game. I don't remember what he did.
I'm gonna go ahead and calculate that. See if anybody gets a massive bump in usage from him being out real quick for you guys.
I wouldn't see a big bump in usage because he's not a high usage guy, especially with Dinwiddie, but just to see where the minutes disperse would be interesting.
Well, Bagley's already out, so let me go ahead. Let me just do it anyway.
Kawhi or PG will be in the winning line. Yeah, I like Paul George over Kawhi. Like I said, I just like to go with the cheaper option because it's tough to try and decipher between the two. Favorite plays on okay, we touched on that. Favorite studs if you fade Luca. Favorite studs if you fade Luca. I didn't know that was a question. Drummond and Paul George would be my two.
I'm looking at the wrong team. I'm an idiot.
DeRozan or Holmes in tournament.
Thinking about last year.
DeRozan or Holmes in tournament. I would go with De'Aaron Fox and split the middle. That would be my advice. I don't like Rashawn Holmes' matchup tonight. He's 7-1. I think that price is crazy. I know Bagley's out and he's been playing some good ball, but I'd rather go with Bjelica at 5-6. I think that's a better play. But yeah, if you're stuck in that range, if you can somehow rearrange your lineup, I would rather play De'Aaron Fox over DeRozan and Rashawn Holmes in that price range. Jordan revenge game, DeAndre Jordan revenge game. Maybe. I mean, it's always a possibility. I know we talked about it. I don't know if I mentioned it on stream or if it was off stream to Matt. I know that we mentioned some love for the Trailblazers last night, especially Hassan and Melo. But I mean, Melo took advantage of the opportunity going back to New York and played really well. He shot the ball lights out. He also cannot play defense, and thank God, because if for the members that we have, Julius Randle last night, I mean, going up against Melo, that was easy. That was too easy.
Yeah, Hassan Whiteside had a really good night last night too, right?
He played well in the first half. I don't think he had a very good second half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't follow it much, to be honest with you.
I remember looking at my phone. He had like 27 DK points, and it was like in the first half.
Yeah.
So,
Millsap or Turner? I go Turner over Millsap.
Be sure to fire away your last minute questions, guys. I know TJ's about to go make the cash lineup for our members. I will stay on just a little bit longer just to show you my last minute exposures, what I'm going to be running in GPP. I'm probably going to keep it limited just because I'm awaiting that Bruce Brown news. That will literally break my my builds because I really do like him tonight.
Bruce Brown breaking the builds.
Yeah. I really like the Pistons without him, and I like Bruce Brown in general. So that's what I'm going to do. There's my sneaky play tonight, by the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna get off and finish this lineup for our customers. Lineup will be posted soon. For those of you who want to gain access to the lineups, it's what is it, Matt? $10 a week, I think, is our price.
$10 a week, $25 a month.
You can try and build your lineup here. And like I said, I just gave you my core four that I'm building around tonight. But it's really those fillers that I really focus on that I kind of keep to myself. Like last night, the lineup had DJ Augustine, who was 10 times value. Randall played really well. LeBron, we had Booker. So come sign up if you guys want to come get on board with the cash builds. We've cashed 5 of the last 6 nights, 1-0 in 2020. That's the year we're on right now, 2020. Yeah, new decade, 1-0. So yeah, I'm gonna get off and go make that. I want to answer this one last question: Christian Wood or Marquise Chris? I would go Marquise Chris and cash, and I'd go Christian Wood and GPP.
Yeah, I like Christian Wood tonight. I think Christian Wood's another great play. So this is what I'm looking at, guys. I like Brunson tonight. I like Chris. I like Bruce Brown as of right now. Doncic, Harrell, Paul George, Lou Will. We've already touched base on all these guys, but those are my top plays for the slate. If you guys want to build around those as well, Marquise Chris is another great play. He should get plenty of run. Take advantage of no bigs in Minnesota. Again, it's going to be a G League game, so that game's going to be very competitive.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, I'm going to take off. I will catch you guys tomorrow night. And Matt, I will talk to you in a little bit.
All right. Talk to you soon.
See you guys.
All right, guys. Fire away your last minute questions. I will answer as much as I can. I'm going to be playing just a little bit of GPPs tonight. Probably not anything over 10, actually, just because I want that advantage of that Bruce Brown news. Bruce Brown is the benefactor for me tonight. I really do like Bruce Brown. So if he is ruled out, we like people like Frazier, which we had mentioned on the chat. Also, for all the guys who have flooded in, I know we're getting a big influx of people joining the chat. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please subscribe because you will be first to hear the updates on our streams. Get that notification pop up, and then you guys can join the stream. And we have been very successful with our core builds lately. Have a lot of money won for you guys. Hopefully we're very helpful for you and just bouncing ideas off of each other. That's what it's all about. So please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button. And obviously, please like the video. Favorite center under 5K. Let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. Under 5K. Let's see. I'm staying away from the Chicago game. Well, Montrezl Harrell, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Montrezl Harrell. No questions asked. Kleber is another good play. And Chris followed. Well, Chris, I think, is a better value than Kleber. Kleber's just not a good point per dollar player. Core 4. Let's go back here. I will go back to my lineups. I like Brunson. I like Chris. I like Bruce Brown as of right now. And I like Doncic. You can also put Lou Will in there. There's 5. Those are my favorite 5 on this slate. Lou Will is projected with low ownership, which is very surprising. If he is low owned, that's going to be a very good edge on the field. Bruce Brown and Lou Will are my sleepers tonight. Of course, that's if Bruce Brown plays. He is questionable with an illness, so that's the only holdup I have on Bruce Brown. Yeah, we do like Zubac, but again, he's only projected at 20 minutes, which obviously scares us. I like minutes over fantasy point production. If a player is getting a ton of minutes, I still prefer them because if they're on the court and it's a high-paced game, they're bound to do something. So I've always preached minutes over physical production because if a player's only on the court for 20 minutes and for some reason they're not hitting their shots, it's going to hurt you. So that's the reason why I like Chris, because he's productive and he's getting a lot of minutes tonight. I think he's projected at 30. And in a great matchup against the Warriors. Looks like the Golden State line actually moved up, which means it will be a fairly competitive game on the back-to-back. Fire away. Any last questions, guys? Any last questions? Harrell. We like the Clippers tonight. We like the Clippers. They're undervalued as it is. And without Bev, filtered by center. Without Bev, it actually increases the Clippers even more. So, happy about that. Absolutely, guys. We really appreciate the support. Hopefully, you guys like the streams. Chris is projected at 29 minutes, so right around 30. They don't have a big man, so he should be playing. Yes, we do like Chris. Chris puts up a lot of shots. He's fairly productive when he's in there. He's hit value the last 2 games. And he's going to be in a competitive game. It's going to be a pace-up spot slightly for Golden State. Okogie or Seth Curry? I say Seth Curry. For cash, still Seth Curry. But that's neither one of those guys are going to be that high-owned. Best T-Wolves pick, we went with Napier with that. Napier's the best T-Wolves pick. Covington's another good one, and Culver is also a good pick. But Napier's our favorite. If I had to pick another one, Culver's next, and then Covington. Yep. Buddy Hield or Damian Lee? That's a good question. I would lean towards Hield just because it's a pace-up spot. 114. Hield 6.7. If you're looking straight up for who's going to score more points, I'd probably say Buddy Hield. Brunson for cash, Seth for GPP. All right, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and get off. I'm going to build my lineups here. I have about 12 minutes to enter these contests. So with all that being said, guys, please hit the subscribe button. Hopefully you guys cash tonight. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in.